Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the program this evening, we'll be talking about the Nuga Games because the Vice President, Yemi Oshibanjo, has actually received the touch today. And also touchdown in Edo State, where the LOC have submitted their final report and also urging the federal government to make sure they are able to pay the money that was promised, and that's the 5 million naira promised them during the games. Also, the D Tigers, not a good start for them after going behind for as much as 20 points. They tried their best to come back from that, but they lost by 14 points to China in their opening game. And also, we'll touch down on the NNL. It's starting this weekend, and of course, the first game that will be between Vandresa FC and Benin Insurance that is on Friday evening. There's so much more to talk about on Sport Tonight. And also, just hours before the deadline, the trade will end in the NBA. James Harden, he's been traded to 76ers. And of course, for 76ers to be able to get him, they had to part ways with the likes of Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and also Andre Drummond. So it's a whole lot for 76ers to lose in order to gain again James Harden. There's so much to talk about on Sports Tonight, but I'll not be doing all the talking alone because Bolu Omoni is right here on the program. Well, good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Cecilia. Good to see your face again on the evening belt. And I think the NBA trade, one of the biggest surprises is the James Harden move. I don't think anyone expected this, but again, the sorry result for the Tigers. I think it was expected. Like I told you off here, my target is the game against Mali. We must do everything possible to win that game. All
right. And of course, that's where we're starting off with this evening. It's all about the D Tigers, the game they played against China. When the coach was talking in pre-match conference, talked about the fact they don't have the full complement of all the players. Imagine having 11 players and you're playing just 10. And China had about 12 players, and they were able to use all of them. Ife Ibekwe didn't play because a little bit of injury, she did not play the game. But then that's the result right there. China and Nigeria ended 90-76. Nigeria lost by 14 points. And for Mali and France, it's 77-66. And if you're looking at the differential right now, it simply means Nigeria is at the bottom of this group. But we're facing France next, and our next game is going to be, our last game will be against Mali. We played France during the Olympics, right? So hopefully maybe we can get one or something closer. But then in this particular game, it was all about the China started so well. I mean, they had a fantastic run in the first quarter. You know, they just took the bull by the horn and it just went on. And then D Tigers tried to close the gap, but then it was a little too late for them.
For Tigers, I think they left it a little too late, like you rightly said. At the point in the game, they were 29 points behind. They fought hard, but where they lost it for me was they couldn't defend the three-pointers from the Chinese. Anywhere around the box, I think that became their strategy. They had about 14 three-pointers. You could find ways to block that, stop that.
51% for them.
Yeah, 51.9%. Every time they got close to the line, they're hitting their 3 points, and they got over 50% of them. Hopefully, we'll learn from it and move on. But the sad part is, China are ranked 7th.
Of course.
France are ranked 4th. It means on paper we are playing a better side.
Of course.
But yes, we played them before. But again, we beat China the last time at the World Cup. They defeated us. So sometimes those things doesn't really matter. We just have to give beyond our best. But now we are behind Mali all day. But I think because we lost by 14, we are behind them by 3 points. So even if we'll be losing the French game, let it not be too wide. Let's close the gap, then sort everything out. The game against Mali, I believe, is the most important for us. Immediately these draws were made, I thought to myself, we'll probably lose to France and China. But do everything you can to beat Mali because 3 out of the 4 teams will qualify. And I think Nigeria should do best to be among the 3.
Hopefully they can. But if you take a look at the performance coming from the D Tigers, Ami Okonkwo, she had 15 points, came off the bench to get that 4 rebounds and 2 steals. For Palace, Akmana, she had 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. That was a good one for her. Promise, Amo Kamara had 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And of course, the captain, Adora Elono, had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. But for China, I may give it to the biggest girl on the day, where you have Yeru Lee, who had 19 points. Lee Meng also had 19 points. Zuhan had 18 points. So these actually, you know, they were the players who put it up for the D Tigers. Well, D Tigers, they have just one shooter on the day. So you don't have enough players. I mean, with Ezine Kalu, she's not there. And see some key players who didn't play. Ify, for instance, who is good from that 3-point range, also didn't play. So you're looking at these players that didn't play. Hopefully, maybe, since Ezine is totally out, so of course, you can't talk about her because she's totally out. But maybe Ify is fit for the other 2 games, obviously. obviously be able to, have more shooters on the game, because that's actually what they need. But you know what, let's take a listen to the coach right now, Otis, talking about what they need to do next to be able to win the next match against France, and of course, before they play Mali.
Threes that we made. I'm not great at math, but that's pretty good deficit. 10 times 3 is definitely 30. But that's okay. I thought China's really good, and no excuses. I thought our girls did not quit. I thought they played hard. I thought they met a physical game, and by the second half, they were up to the task. And this young lady here and that young lady there, man, they have motors. They play hard, and they're young. They're the future. And I'm so happy to get them. We talked about getting them the experience, and here they are. This is who the team is going to belong to here real soon. You have got girls that shoot. We stay hugged up on the weak side when the ball's over there instead of making that lane. Throw over the top contested pass. That's easy to recover to on a closeout, and you'll close out one direction instead of being half the distance because you're scared of the shot. Closing out to help on the roll and then closing back out long distance. Be already in. You close out one direction. Those kind of little things will help us get better. We shorted up a little bit in the second half. We met their intensity in the second half. So those kind of things. If we get better at that, get a base offense, we'll be fine. It hurts that we only have one point guard. So we had to bring the ball up with our bigs. And that's good. That's a good learning curve for our girls.
Yeah, experience, of course. The girls will get that experience, also a good learning curve for them. You see, we have some new players in the team, and hopefully in the next game they should be able to play. But then Ami Okonkwo had 15 points in the game. This is what she had to say.
Hard-fought game for us. I think that we came out there and gave our all and did the best that we could. Of course, there's more work to do. We have to get back to the drawing board. There's 2 more games and 3 more days. And we just have to tighten up on the things that we made mistakes in this game and do better in the next games. I think coming off the bench, I was able to see kind of what mistakes China was making, or the open spots or open reads that I can find when I went into the game. And I just read what was given to me, and I tried to capitalize off of it.
Opportunity was given, but then she had to capitalize on that. She played more than 20 minutes on court, because she was able to get 15 points out of that. France, obviously, is next for the D Tigers. They're able to beat France and then beat Mali, because the World Cup tickets will be in hand. But we'll wait and see what's going to happen in that one. Okay, we're leaving that and quickly touch down on what's going on in Nigerian Men's Football League. We know that, yes, they are on break, but then during this time, they decided to use the opportunity to actually train the media officers, level up trainings and seminar for media officers, and also communication and officials are training for them. And the whole essence for this is for them to actually, keep abreast of what's current trending technology, how to use social media to disseminate information, to people who really need it. If you look at some social media handles of some of these clubs, use maybe the post of like 2 years ago or something. I know they are somewhat really active. Rivers Angels, for instance, are very active. FC Robo are active. There are some you go through their social media handle, you can actually get, current information, even get
Rivers design, like when they set up their lineup, you see designs for Rivers.
Yeah.
I think they're up to date. And I may not like to say it, but it's the truth. The phrase of what a man can do, a woman can do better. I tell people, if you don't believe, come to Nigerian football, you'll believe it more. Every time there's an NWFL game, you see the women putting out their reports, match reports, info about the games. Unlike the MPFL where they are sleeping. And again,
literally calling the media officer for information.
Exactly. Even when you call, you hear something, I don't know about this, you have to talk to the GM or the TM. But I think this is very, very commendable. Why? Because sometimes people feel media officers just nice, so long I can put ball. This means they want better for the clubs, they want better for the league. I'm sure if the media officers can take this to heart, in the next maybe 2-3 weeks, don't be surprised when you see loads of activities, lots of things that you don't even hear about the women's football. You start seeing them on a regular basis. So both the organizers, everyone involved, including Cecilia, I think I commend everyone. This is a brilliant. If we can do this same thing for the men. Sometimes you see post-match report, everyone is on the field, almost putting the phones in the mouth of both the players and coaches. Now we know what to do. I want to believe they know what to do. They didn't just go there, sit down and do it. So I think it's a step in the right direction for them. Now when the league gets back to action, don't be surprised when you start seeing positive moves from the media officers, because now there was an excuse before. Now there's no excuse anymore. You know about it now.
Trained,
You've been trained. Hopefully they all learn from the training.
Yeah, resources is spent and everything. So this obviously will not go to waste. Well, let's take a listen to Timisire Abayomi, who happens to be a brand and communication consultant, talking more about this.
This training seminar is very, very important and strategic for the growth and the image making of the Nigerian Women's Football League. You know, so to say, we have goals, we have visions set that we need to achieve. So it's important that we bring everybody together to be on the same page with what we want to achieve, with the way we want to achieve things, the way we want to be seen. It's also an opportunity for us to also help bridge the gap in the information and the knowledge of these media officers. You know, in the Nigerian ecosystem, in the Nigerian sports ecosystem, basically the media officers is more or less a foreman. Again, having to do so many things at the same time, or you know, everybody sees it. The traditional media officers, you know, before now, is more or less just someone that dispenses news about the clubs, you know, reported about matches and everything. But now things have changed. You have the social media, you have video, you have image photography, you have so many other things. And most of our clubs have not really made provisions for all of these things.
There's so much for them to do, and hopefully they will be able to disseminate that information that people out there will need. Clubs like Edo Queens are doing so much, but we're not seeing the reflection on social media. Maybe their media officers also need to step up. Rivers Angels are doing so well. You mentioned the FC Robo, they're doing so well. Even the new Nigerians also, I mean, they even post their highlights on their handle. So that's a great way to go. So if others can do that, then the club, you discover that even if you're in the US, you will know the teams that are playing Nigerian Women's League because it's out there on social media and also on TV. So I think that's the best way to go. And
it's the best way I believe fans can relate. Sometimes
with the clubs. They need to know the players.
Yeah, that follow NPFL or the NWFL. They know some names, but you can't marry the face, because sometimes pictures doesn't mean that's the face. Because picture you are posh or not, but when you see someone on the field, it's different. So when we see regular posts, regular updates, we want to know the trades. We want to know who has left Robo.
Of the star players and
who has left Robo to join Rivers. We want to see these things and the constant information. That way, it will reduce assumption. Sometimes when journalists report on there, when there's no, okay, I think, but when we follow suit, I like what the guy said, that we want everything to be done professionally, and I hope it won't just end with sound by, oh, we've done this thing. No, let's see the reflection, learn from others. Like you rightly said, we have seen loads of money being pumped into Edo Queens. Let it reflect in everything. So that way, some of us will champion the women's game even more. Probably others will be more interested.
Yeah, hopefully they can do that. Also, want to see good match reports. I mean, don't send the report and say the referee gave a dubious penalty. How come on, you're media officer of a team? What will you say? Why would you write that? So I'm like, sometimes just be proactive. I mean, whatever you're writing, just be objective in putting out that information out there, because not everybody had watched the game, but whatever you put out, that's what they're going to believe. If you say the referee was dubious, and I didn't say
everybody will conclude.
Will conclude and say, oh, that's what actually what happened and stuff like that. We're leaving that now and quickly talk about the Nuge Games. It's happening in Lagos. Of course, we know Unilag is hosting for the first time in 6 years. Yes, we're having the Nuge Games back, and of course, it's going to be in Lagos. Unilag hosting starting March 16 to 26. And just today, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, received that torch of unity right there in Abuja. It was the Vice Chancellor of the university that actually handed it over to him, talking about Professor Vice Chancellor Oluwatoyin Ogunekpe. It was in company of the sports minister, Sunday Dare. Of course, the pictures you're seeing right there when he received that torch from the Nuga Games organizers. So the Nuga Games, you're going to be having about 10,000 students taking part over 10 days, and this is huge. And we all know that, of course, Professor Yemi Osinbajo happens to be an alumnus of Unilag. He also taught there, was a lecturer there and everything. It's all like a homecoming for him, so to speak.
I know what this thing is about, because I played at the private university games, and sometimes when people talk, how do players feel representing their country? I said, I played for my school. I know what the feeling was. Then imagine representing your nation. And back in the days, before we were born, we heard stories of how some players, athletes from the Nuga Games, started representing Nigeria. So it's a good initiative. Hopefully, we stop some unnecessary drama. Focus on the sports, focus on the games. Who knows? We may have the next Super Eagles star here. We may have the next Segun Toriola here. We may have the next Nigerian top athletes here. If we follow suit, if we follow through, look out for the key talents there. Sometimes these events are beyond winners. Yeah, I may be the best and not win the gold medal, but a talent person will definitely spot that this guy is good. So I think it's a huge, huge welcome development. 6 years, I want to believe we know the lapses, we know the errors, we know the things to avoid. And luckily, it's coming to Lagos, where I think to an extent, and Unilag, they are good sporting facilities. So hopefully this will definitely be an interesting game and probably compete with the IFL. You know, when you have two events running side by side, doing very well, it's
IFL is just football. This is all sport. That's the difference. And they're going to take it out of Unilag, not just Unilag alone, across other sports centers in Lagos. Let's take a listen to the Sports Minister, Sunday Dare, and also the Vice Chancellor of the University, Oluwatoyin Ogunnipe.
This will be the first time that we are bringing in a new dimension into the issue of Nuga Games in Nigeria. The last one that was held was about 6 years ago. But you know, the best one that was held before the one that we are going to hold now was 1998, during Professor Motola's time as the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. And thereafter, we had the WAHUG, the West African one. And many of the athletes that came from outside the country decided that they are not going to leave because of the way the Unilag people hosted them. This time around, we want it to be better than that one. We want it to be a city competition, city sport. What do we mean by that? We don't want to localize everything to Akoka. We are going to make use of the Teslim Balogun Stadium. We are going to make use of Road Park. We want it to be such that the people that are coming from outside Lagos will feel the Lagos atmosphere.
The greatest community where you can find talent that can produce talents for our national team will come from such games as the Nuga Games. So we see here a great potential. And that's why, as a ministry and as a government, we latch on to bringing back the spirit of Nuga. And we look forward to the fact that we'll find a lot of our talents that will eventually form the team that will go to the Commonwealth Games in July to represent this country. So we thank you so much, Unilag, for accepting to wake up this sleeping giant Nuga that went to sleep for a long time. And we look forward to a very successful Nuga Games comeback.
The sleeping giant is awake, right? Okay, now let's listen to the Vice President himself, what he had to say concerning the Nuga Games.
I must say that I'm very truly honored to be receiving this torch of unity, and I will especially like to thank the hardworking Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogunnipe, and his team for the honor. As a proud alumnus of Unilag, it's heartwarming to see us hosting Nuga again, 24 years after a highly successful and colorful outing in 1998. And I'm more certain that you will bring the capacity for delivering excellence, for which Unilag is well known, to bear on this particular games again this year. Sport has always been a great unifier. It offers us an opportunity to keep a step outside our sometimes contentious divisions and to embrace one another in support of our teams or in healthy competition and camaraderie. The virtues of discipline, dedication, teamwork, which are indispensable to success in every sporting endeavor, remind us of what it takes to inspire the best in each other and to accomplish great things when we set our minds to the task. As our young men and women from universities across Nigeria gather in Lagos in March to compete in a range of sporting events, we'll once again get a chance to see the abundance of talent that makes Nigeria such a special country. For years, the Nigerian University Games Association has not only provided a space that allows us to see the value that every part of the country has to offer, but it has also provided a platform for the discovery and honing of individual sporting talent, many of whom have gone on to represent Nigeria successfully on the world stage.
And Olusoji Fashoba is one of those that have gone out to represent Nigeria at the world stage. Vincent Yama also was also one of those, I mean, you won't believe the footballer who was in university representing his own school before, you know, he became one of the best when you talk about goalkeeping in the country, helping Nigeria to actually win at the Nations Cup in 2013. But we need to go on a break. When we come back, there's still so much to talk about on sport this morning, especially the latest FIFA ranking. Right, let's talk about what happened in the Edo States just yesterday, where the 20th National Sports Festival Local Organizing Committee, they revealed that they are still expecting, well, the 500 million bailout from the federal government, which was agreed on for compensation for the series of postponement that happened during the coronavirus pandemic and all. And also the fact that they submitted the final audit report for the games. They showed about 15.7 million naira surplus from the budget. So there's a breakdown of the income that was accrued and also the money that was spent and the money that was saved. But then at the end of the day, declaring that game secretariat close of the final report, they also had to make an appeal to the federal government to tell them, look, we're still expecting that money. Give it to us.
It's weird we are still talking about it, actually.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a time they almost stopped the festival. That if you don't pay us, we are stopping.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
we'll
did.
pay. And a year gone by, we are still here. It looks like this money will go on forever. And the way our setup is, if this administration leaves,
that's the end.
That's the end of the money, sadly.
Let's listen to the deputy governor of the state, who happens to be the chairman of the local organizing committee, talking all about this and giving us more details on the report.
We had an income of 4,684,944,400 as income. This income includes money we receive from states and money received from sponsors. And we have an expenditure of 4,669,169,791.34 kobo. And we have a surplus of 15,774,608 naira 66 kobo as audited. So for us, it was also about managing lean resources. We have a budget of close to 13 billion, and we ended up spending 4-point-something billion. They agreed that they will give us a support of 500 million as against the 2.5 billion that we already earlier agreed, but which led to the governor now giving us a loan of 500 million, and we have to now pay this money to our vendors, the hoteliers, so that they threatened to double lock most of those accommodation that night if we didn't pay, and the caterers were ready to down tools. But after that discussion, the governor was able to give loan to the LOC to the tune of 500 million, which helped us to deal with those issues. As we speak, we are still appealing. Recently, we still had a discussion with the Honorable Minister, and we has promised that by the grace of God, the money will be paid to Edo State government. So we have also, in our report, we have also informed the governor because we are supposed to pay that money back to the state government. So we've informed him, and the governor is talking with them. But I can assure you, with the recent discussion we had with the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sport, and the Finance Minister. Hopefully, will get the 500 million that they promised. But as at now, the money has not still been paid.
All right, Secretariat closed. The whole audit report submitted, surplus money made, but then they're still waiting for the promise made by the federal government for them to be able to give out the 500 million that was promised them for compensation during that period of postponement during the pandemic. I mean, it's a story that you just look at. I love the fact that they had, the audit report. I mean, giving a breakdown of how much they had and how much they spent and how much was left, which is really good. I mean, that's what we call it accountability. And of course, the money was sourced from, before the game. They talked about from private sector, and also some states also, give them money. So for them to be able to use it like that, and then had to go now borrow money from the state government, state governor added. So they want to return that money back to the states.
I love the accountability to the least kobo.
Yeah.
Every dime, how much you spent. Yes, there may be excesses or whatever, but at least I like that they accounted for everything word for word. So if I was part of their sponsors, if I listened to this, I would be inspired to want to do it again, knowing if I drop a certain amount, I can know how much is spent on it. Hopefully they get that money, like he rightly said. It may look small, but it is huge, like they say the local balance.
How is 500 million small?
Well, it may be small to some people. Like
that's half a billion.
Not half a billion now. So I think they deserve to get their money because, yes, it's a promise, but if you make a promise, you have to fulfill. Yeah. I still remember well, they literally stopped the sport festival and not say, okay, you will get your money.
The vendors said they will stop,
they were to get it even before the end of the festival. Then suddenly festival is gone, a year has gone by, and they are still waiting. But like he said, the sport minister, the honorable sport minister said they will get their money. Hopefully they do get it back before the end of as soon as possible. And now the sport minister is involved in too many things. The stadium in Lagos is there, the Nuga games there, too many. Hope they won't be distracted. Oh, we forgot. But like I said, I think the finance minister is also involved.
Was the one who made the promise, yes.
Let them get their money back and put it back where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what they should do, because the state needs to invest back in the state and also, provide infrastructure for the people of Edo State. Okay, we're leaving that, and now the FIFA ranking. Yes, Gambia. Remember when Gambia came to the Africa Cup of Nations? They were ranked 150. But now, they're one of the biggest movers. You know the reason? Because of their performance at the Africa Cup of Nations. A whole lot of drama that happened at the Africa Cup of Nations. Well, at the end of the day, this is what it's looking like right now. The top 5 in Africa. Senegal, 18th in the world, number 1. Morocco, 2nd, 24th. Of course, Nigeria. I mean, before we went to the nation, we were ranked 5th, right? And now 3rd, we actually move up to 32nd in the world. Egypt now 4th. And of course, you have Tunisia completing the top 5 in Africa in the latest FIFA ranking. Yeah, I mean, when the ranking came, I was like, why will I even look at the spreads? But I remember that, actually we won all the games and everything for a while. But I think this is a good one, the move.
I think when they drop, we criticize them. So I think to an extent, it's good to talk about the move as well. So it's been a while we've been here. And we are just behind, okay, we are the Eagles, but we are behind the 2 Lions we have, the Teranga Lions, Senegal, and the Atlas Lions of Morocco. So hopefully we get to hopefully this reflects in our performance. Like I tell people, everything that's happened at the AFCON is done and completed. The focus, the target, everything now moves towards the game against Ghana. For selfish reasons, I don't care what problems they have in Ghana now. When we are done with the qualifier, we can now start thinking about passion and all. So I think the move should reflect. And luckily, we have more than enough talent in the team. So much more, especially in the attack. We are looking for who to play. Now, Osimhen is back, Igalo is back, and Onachu is back. Who will draw for them? So hopefully, all these movements, players reflect in our performance, because nobody will really care after all this movement to 3rd if we fail to qualify for Qatar 2021. So let's give all this ranking and give a payback. Okay, yeah, we are the best, 3rd best in Africa, one of the best in the world. Let's show it. Because what sense is there if we are the 3rd in Africa and we don't play at the World Cup? None. So hopefully this reflects well. 100% support. For whatever reason, Ghana's issues among their squad should continue. We will love them back after match. But for now, Ghana, please let there be a disarray.
Okay, but do you know that sometimes when you're pushed to the wall, that's when you bounce back and
they're
you're
not
better.
At the wall yet. They'll be at the wall after that qualifier.
If you take a look at Tunisia, I mean, I remember we were celebrating, some players got COVID, even the coach won't be there. And what happened?
Even Morocco.
1-0, that was all it takes.
Morocco, that people were saying Ziyech is not there,
Yeah,
they
do you
won't go
understand?
far.
So
Group
sometimes,
stages, they go far.
so sometimes when a team is in disarray and they're not really like compact, and then there's so much talk about, the players obviously know what's at stake. They want to be at the World Cup. Nations Cup was a disaster. They all know that. So you obviously want to put in their best. Well, let's take a look at the top 10 in the world before we talk about this one. The top 10 in the world. And of course, you know, Belgium still very much, I mean, they're holding on. When are they going to leave it?
I'm still surprised
because
Belgium
of the numbers of
there.
points they actually accrued. So I think that's what it is.
It's a 5-year plan.
So that's the thing. So it's not going to be hard for any team to knock off Belgium. But let's see. Brazil second, France third for Argentina, England, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Denmark, and Netherlands completing the top 10 in the world. That's for FIFA ranking. You were talking about how can you knock off Belgium. Let's get to the World Cup.
The performance. I think the World Cup is the final straw for this golden generation. If they don't win this World Cup, or maybe second, I think it will be another maybe next 10, 20 years before we see. Because
the players are young. I mean, give them time. The players,
they look young. Lukaku is, I think, 29. De Bruyne is around the same way. And those are probably their... Hazard is fizzling out little by little.
We're not talking about Hazard right now. The Belgian team can actually function without Hazard.
Yeah, but
because
the next
of the stars that they have.
In 3 years. Some of them will probably not even be in this team again.
Why?
When you take out the De Bruynes, the Hazards, the Vixel in the middle, take out their defenders, it feels like the generation may not make it to the next World Cup. Or like France, that take out the first 2 teams for France, you still see another team in it, because players like Dembele, Marshall is not even getting any call-up at all. So I think if there's a team that has 3-4 squads, Germany to an extent also have a young squad, 2-3 different squads. But I worry for this Belgian team.
Okay,
I think this is more like the final draw. If they fail this time around, maybe the generation that will do it is not this one. Remember Spain, the golden generation people call for Spain is the one that succeeded. But if you follow Spain for a while, they've had qualities upon qualities. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it. So maybe even the same for Ivory Coast in Africa. The Drogba generation couldn't do anything. They lost to the Nigerian team that many thought they were going to book their flight ticket. But when Drogba left, I think Koloturi retired, and they did with Yara. So who knows? That could be the story of Belgium. Maybe Nigeria.
Interesting. Maybe Nigeria. Okay. Nations Cup is next in Côte d'Ivoire. All right, let's see. Talking about Ghana, you mentioned Ghana earlier, and of course, what's happening. But the good news is they've got a coach right now, got technical advisor, so they have a technical crew. You know, were they really waiting for Nigeria to confirm theirs before they were able to do that? Because that's the question you want to ask. On Tuesday, that's when we heard, okay, now Nigeria got a full technical crew. So we know the teams, the coaches that will take the Super Eagles, you know, to play the game against Ghana. And then on Thursday, you hear Ghana Football Federation announcing that they've appointed the former Borussia Dortmund defender Otto Addo as their new coach. Chris Hughton will serve as technical advisor when they play the World Cup playoffs against Nigeria. This is what it's looking like. He's the technical advisor. Otto Addo happens to be the new coach. Then you also have a George Boateng, part of that also. And Addo is 46. He's an assistant coach for Borussia Dortmund. He's focusing on youth development. So does he really have that experience? That's what you're looking like. Now you're looking like former Dutch international George Boateng also. He's got Ghanaian roots. He's also a youth team. He has with Aston Villa at a point. So Didi Dramani, he works in Denmark. So the crop of people they're bringing in, and if you check, not all of them have been in Ghana as coach before. So like you're just bringing out, yes, they're Ghanaian roots and everything, but more like foreign export. But the whole thing is for this crop of coaches to try to qualify Ghana for the World Cup at the expense of Nigeria.
Like you rightly said, hope it's not a reaction to Nigeria announced it. And the difference between us and
24 hours.
Our coaching crew have been here before. Even Mamouni Kid has not coached the national team. He's been involved on the youth system. Some of his players are here, so I think it's more like we look more prepared. And the coach himself, that's in well, the difference is our technical advisor is the boss. But their technical advisor is just an advisor. Addo is the real man in charge. But again, I think we have the experience, we have the quality, we have the players. Yes, they said Otin Odoi was in Accra about 2 weeks ago to finalize playing for Ghana, switching from England. I think Salisu has also agreed to play for them or Southampton. But with the talent, without any coach in charge of the two teams, talent alone, I think we have
enough.
better. With our coaches, yes, Chris Hughton was a coach in the Premier League, Newcastle and Brighton, but coaching in the Premier League is a different ballgame entirely from coaching a national team. Then coaching the Brazils and co is a completely different ballgame from coaching in Africa. You need to know how it works here. The terrain, the style, the weather, everything is different. So I'm not sure Chris... Well, since they said he's just the advisor, so maybe he's just going to give tactical or technical advice to them. But I think we still have everything it takes. I mean, the Super Eagles, we have everything it takes to win this game. Ghana knows what's at stake. They know they know what they need to do to stop Nigeria from going to the World Cup. But at the same time, we just need to do our business. I'm excited. I'm happy the second leg is in Nigeria. So whatever happens in Ghana, if we win there, all well and good, but don't be complacent. But if we lose or draw there, we know just come home in Abuja, do the business, get it done with, and see Ghana when next we meet at the AFCON next year. But I've seen documentaries, I've seen stories, I've seen movies, I've seen things, videos about Qatar 2021. See, I don't think we want to miss it. Even for Nigerians that will be in Qatar, watching from home alone is enough. I don't think anybody wants to miss. And I listened to a player's interview that most fans think we miss or we feel bad more than the players involved. No. That whatever happens, they lost or whatever, they feel it more. Sometimes they will play like Okoye, they will play the clips for him again. He could have done better. Watch it, so they know what is at stake. I think Nigeria missing out will be more painful than Ghana missing out. So, a Guinean brother. So we'll see next time. Just leave this.
I don't get it. I mean, Nigeria missing out will be more painful for you, right? Because you're a Nigerian, obviously. For a football fan. For a football fan, so they prefer to have the Super Eagles.
Fan base is huge. A member of their parliament say they can't even win that. Why are they playing the game? Now let's just walk over them and move. So some of them, I don't think there's any Nigerian that believes Ghana will beat the Super Eagles, especially with the performance at the last AFCON. So I think we have what it takes. We have to be there. I think if Nigeria is not there, FIFA will miss us because the fan base for Nigeria is huge. We have many Nigerians in Asia, Malaysia, Qatar, Dubai. I could then imagine the Super Eagles at the World Cup. The fan base, what Argentina did was, we want to play Argentina again. I think we are friends all the time. So let's see if this could be the time to defeat the Argentines.
Do you really want to play Argentina again?
I won't be surprised.
I don't think so because Argentina won Copa America.
We missed them just once. Every time we play them.
Come on, they won Copa America last year.
So they are okay.
They're okay now. When I mean okay, the World Cup is obviously going to be the next target.
They are okay with playing well.
We don't have Argentina in our group anymore because I believe if we didn't have them, because that was the last game, right? All we needed was just
a draw to qualify.
And we have a coach who didn't have good
maybe a group like Egypt.
Management.
We could have done well in a group like so. Maybe if we go this, no, you know, people it will be if Ghana goes and they're in an easy group. We could have, so we don't want if, what if, coulda, woulda. No, we want to be there ourselves and perform well. Hopefully this time around, if when we qualify, we still have Eguavoin and Amunike, maybe they'll be the ones to lead us to the next round and beyond.
Yeah, I think, talking about that, I think that should be the key because I'm thinking Eguavoin's position, I mean, interim is still there, but the likes of Amunike and the others, I mean, they have the job. Now, you're still having that interim. Does that mean after the game against Ghana, whatever happens, we're going to be having someone new because Governor obviously has a job with NFF, the technical director of the federation, and then interim. Okay, I just hope they don't scuttle this no matter what happens. Because sometimes when you know you have this job, you do better.
That's where I was going, If his life depends on this, it will be different. Whatever happens is going back to become the technical director. But when you let him know you have this job permanent and you must qualify,
so the
I think the level of seriousness could be different. Except the plan is...
he's a professional, so we know what he's obviously going to take it seriously.
Except the plan is qualify, step down, let Amunike take over. Except that's the plan.
I think some people have actually hinted that may just be the case because Amunike, of course, is the head coach. He has coached other teams, not just Nigeria, Tanzania, of course, coached them to Nations Cup for the first time on the 17 team and on the 20 team also. Then, of course, Austin Eguavoin, we know he has coached the Super Eagles twice and even won a bronze medal for the country.
And he coached under 23 as well.
Under 23. Coach under 23 also experience. Salisu Yusuf also, we've seen it with Chani and all. So with these three coaches, they are all chief coaches. So maybe, as you mentioned, he might go back to his position and then Amunike will not be the head coach. Fingers crossed. NFF has a whole lot of things to do, so that's why they are the administrators, and we are just here to do the analysis. All right. Now, talking about the FIFA World Cup, and there's so much to expect at the FIFA World Cup, because right now, Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, is talking about the fact they want to ensure that whatever happened in Qatar, they want to make sure that this might just be a benchmark in organizing having more people, you know, coming to the stadium in terms of health and everything. Yes, there's pandemic, but by that time in December, they're just hoping that maybe it will be better, so to be a benchmark for all the health facilities. I mean, having players, the welfare of the players, the health condition, and having the fans, everyone enjoying a perfect World Cup.
FIFA is working in partnership with the state of Qatar and the World Health Organization, with whom, by the way, we have signed the Memorandum of Understanding back in 2019 to deliver the tournament with an impactful, sustainable and lasting model that promotes health, well-being and security, and sets the benchmark for future sporting events of this scale.
And while the pandemic is still very much here with us, we can now see real light at the end of the tunnel. In our eyes, the pandemic has given Qatar 2022 a new significance. Our World Cup may well be the first time that the world can properly come together to celebrate its passion for football. We're cautiously optimistic that we may be the country that hosts the first true gathering of global fans since the start of the crisis.
And that's what all of us are really praying for, that the World Cup that will run from November 21st to December 18th. 32 nations, well, there will be no crisis when it comes to health, especially with the pandemic still with us. But by then, we just hope that, well, we won't be talking so much about that, but the fans just have opportunity to enjoy the World Cup without thinking about PCR tests, vaccination, and everything. Maybe will just disappear, but it's still here. But we know it's going to take a whole long time.
At least find a way to move around. We saw loads of national tournaments in the last summer, including the Euros and Copa America.
Across countries.
Yeah, across, I think 10 or 11 nations in Europe. So we found ways to live around it. So hopefully, I don't want to believe there are still people who don't care about their health. At least if you don't care about your neighbor and someone else. So I think the World Cup would come, we would have fun, we would enjoy it. For those that will cover live, you would definitely have fun. And those that will cover wherever your country is, you will definitely still enjoy it. The World Cup comes with a different feeling. I tell people the Champions League is superb, beautiful, everything, the finals. But there's nothing beats the World Cup, especially the final itself, where billions of people sit down to watch. You may not be a football person, but you still love to watch the World Cup, especially if your nation is there. So we are ready, Qatar. We are waiting. We want to watch. Like I said earlier, I've seen loads of documentaries to want to miss out on this World Cup. We will definitely have fun. You know, it's more like you have this money, you've wanted to do this thing for a while. Then the opportunity now comes. You would do beyond your best. I don't think anyone will have problems at the World Cup.
Okay. Hopefully, they want 17 million tickets. That's the request that have been made. That's huge. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll look at the live games currently going on in the English Premier League. All right, let's take a look at the live games going on in the English Premier League. It's half-time for both games. You have Liverpool and Leicester City in action. Diego Jota already giving Liverpool the lead at half-time. And for Arsenal, Gabriel scoring the goal against Wolf. For Gabriel, it was 26 minutes into the game that he got the goal, and for Diego Jota, 34th minute. I was thinking Mo Salah would be on the lineup for Liverpool. Well, he's not there, so is he trying to rest? I mean, the defeat at the AFCON is still... I believe he has not recovered from that.
The Arsenal goal came from a cross from Alex, and like I said, the new captain. And for Liverpool, it was a corner kick. Van Dijk headed the ball. Then nobody was close to Jota, and he kicked in from there. I thought Salah would start the guy. He was rooting to go here, ready to forget everything. We saw how Mendy was welcomed by Chelsea at where they are for the Club World Cup. I think Salah may get a run in today. He wants to start playing and forget about the loss at the AFCON. His focus now for national team is the qualifiers. Unfortunately, against this same Senegal. Imagine not seeing either Salah or money at the World Cup. That's brutal.
Thing. It's brutal, really. It's so brutal. I mean, when I saw the draw first, that was what came to my mind. So we're going to be missing one of them. Either of them.
Unfortunately, both of them cannot qualify together. It has to be one person.
I think, I don't know. Egyptians, I'm sorry. Yes, I have some friends in Egypt. But I think I'll prefer Senegal going to the World Cup because I know they'll do better. There's so many star-studded players right there. Edward Mendy, Manchester, that's the best goalkeeper in the world right now. Will not be at the World Cup. Solid defenders, you know. So I mean, Sadio Mane. So they have so many talents. And then you won't get to see these guys at the World Cup. Come on. All right, let's see if the miracle that happened against Egypt will also happen again when they play the playoffs in March. All right, now, we'll wrap it up with the NNL. Yes, the league, the most important league in Nigeria. Taya is not here, so I have to say it's the most important league in Nigeria. Nigeria National League is starting this weekend, and it's starting tomorrow, where you have Vandresa FC and, of course, Benin Insurance. They will be in action. Now, you've seen what Benin Insurance, I mean, what the states have actually done for them. The new deal, sponsorship deal, they signed worth 50 million. The new kits, everything, the branding and all it takes. Now, against another well-funded team, Vandresa. Now, this is top of the pack.
Well, I'd love to even see Benin Insurance squad to know if the deputy governor will say register, because there was a time who was registered with them. But this will be a team where, you know, sometimes I tell people, when Nigerian league clubs, when you know money is not your problem, you know you give your best on the field of play. Look at Real Monsters, one of the things, they have good facility and they are not thinking of, shit, they go pay me this weekend. You know, give your best and no challenge. So I think it's a good way to start the league. Vandresa, they are tasked, everything they are fighting for is to get to the MPFL. And I'm sure the same thing goes for Benin Insurance. So it will definitely be an interesting game. Two teams who are well-funded, where one of them would like to record their games live and everything. So we can't wait for, and hopefully we don't have all those unnecessary dramas in the NNL. Unnecessary. If you think MPFL gives drama, follow NNL for 1 month.
No, NNL is worse. It's worse. I mean, sometimes you can't even keep up with the crisis going on. It's hard for you to see a 1 week and then there are no 2, 3, 4, 5 cases.
I thought you would say one, and I said no, multiple
venues. I'm like, you're trying to keep up with this. Okay, oh, something else happened here. And then your focus is shifted from what happened on the field of play. I mean, when I mean on the field of play, I'm talking about the football itself. You're not talking about drama, referee
violence, chasing players and all. Hopefully we go beyond that this year. Football. When people give excuses, but it happens abroad. And now, when you see cases like that, it's rare. And most of the time, we see the judgments almost
instantly. Yes.
But here you wear something like we're waiting for a referee's report. Sometimes it doesn't come after a week. They want to compare with match commissioner's report, and it goes on and on. We don't want to see these things. If it happens, send the team away completely. I don't think any fan wants their team out of a competition because of them. So if maybe you leave all those slap on the wrist judgment, if one thing happens, ban the team for 1 or 2 years. If you ban 1, 2, 3 teams, I think everybody will wake up. The thing the NWFL did with the media officers, I think we need to do them for fans as well. Because I said a few weeks ago, Canopilla scored a 93rd minute winner away from home.
Yes.
One thing I said the following day I went on there was, nothing happened. No violence, nothing. Not that when they score a late minute equalizer in Kano, all hell will break loose. No, hopefully we've not had any issue like that. And I want us to enjoy the season like that. Come next year, we start another season, Football is you win some, you lose some. At least NBA, there's no draw. You lose and win. But at least here in football, you have the choice of draw. So hopefully from day one in the NNL, we enjoy our games till the end of the season.
Yeah, hopefully, because it's interesting. There's so many new teams that we've seen. I mean, we've seen Sporting Lagos, for instance. There's also a new team coming into NNL. And we've seen teams well-funded. And hopefully this season, Nigeria National League will be one of the best. That's what we're hoping for. And before we leave quickly, touch down on the NBA that we started with, talking about the trading of James Harden to 76ers. I didn't see that coming. Yes, I remember when Steve Nash talked about that they will not trade James Harden. But right now, the Nets are letting him go. But then they're getting a whole lot of players from that trade. They will be getting Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, who hasn't played for 76ers this season because he's upset with the coach, and also Joel Embiid, of course, Andre Drummond are the players they'll be getting, and also the first-round pick of 2022, and also protected another round pick for 2027.
Yeah.
So it's a good deal for 76ers, I think. All right, Bolo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
That's always fair.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. See you tomorrow.